In the next 5 seconds, you're about to discover why your Linux system might be running at half its true speed, and how a few hidden tweaks can instantly unlock performance you didn't even know existed. Most people think Linux is already fast, but what if I told you that out of the box? Even the best Linux distributions are leaving massive performance gains on the table in 2026. And today we're going to uncover the ultimate speed secrets that power users, developers, and even some system engineers quietly use to push Linux to its absolute limits. Now let's dive into the reality of Linux performance in 2026, because things have changed more than most people realize. Over the past few years, Linux has evolved dramatically, not just in terms of usability, but in raw performance efficiency. With improvements in the Linux kernel, better hardware compatibility, smarter schedulers, and new file systems, Linux is now capable of outperforming Windows and Mac OS in many real-world scenarios. But here's the catch. You only get that speed if you know how to unlock it. Otherwise, you're just running a default system that plays it safe rather than fast. The first secret to unlocking the fastest Linux performance is understanding that not all Linux distributions are built for speed. Some prioritize stability, others focus on user-friendliness, and a few are designed specifically for performance. Lightweight distributions like Arch Linux, Void Linux, and Alpine Linux are often faster because they give you full control over what runs on your system. On the other hand, heavier distributions like Ubuntu or Fedora include many background services that can slow things down slightly. This doesn't mean they're bad, it just means you need to optimize them if you want maximum performance. One of the biggest hidden factors affecting Linux speed is the desktop environment. In 2026, desktop environments like GNOME have become more polished but also heavier, while options like XFCE, LXQT, and even tiling window managers like i3 or Hyprand can dramatically improve responsiveness. Imagine opening apps instantly, switching between windows with zero lag, and having your entire system feel snappier just by changing the interface layer. That's how powerful this choice is. Many users underestimate this, but your desktop environment can be the difference between a system that feels okay and one that feels lightning fast. Another major performance secret lies in the Linux kernel itself. Most users stick with the default kernel that comes with their distribution, but in reality, there are optimized kernels specifically designed for performance. Kernels like Zen or Shanmod are tuned for desktop responsiveness, gaming, and low latency. By switching to one of these, you can reduce input lag, improve CPU scheduling, and even boost gaming performance. It's like upgrading your engine without changing your car. And the best part is that this tweak alone can sometimes deliver noticeable improvements instantly. Now let's talk about something most people never touch: CPU governors. Linux gives you control over how your CPU behaves, but by default, it often uses a balanced or conservative profile. If you switch to a performance governor, your CPU runs at higher frequencies more consistently, reducing delays and improving responsiveness. This is especially useful for tasks like gaming, video editing, or heavy multitasking. On modern CPUs, this can make your system feel significantly faster without any hardware upgrade. Storage performance is another critical area where Linux can be optimized far beyond default settings. Many systems still use standard file system configurations that are designed for reliability rather than speed. Switching to file systems like BTRFs with proper tuning, or even ext4 with optimized mount options, can reduce disk access times and improve overall system responsiveness. Simple tweaks like enabling no time or using faster I/O schedulers can shave off milliseconds that add up over time. And when you combine this with an NVMe SSD, the results can feel almost instantaneous. Memory management is another hidden gem in Linux performance. Unlike other operating systems, Linux gives you fine control over how RAM is used. Tweaks like adjusting swappiness can reduce unnecessary disk swapping, keeping more data in RAM where it can be accessed quickly. Tools like ZRM or JWAP can compress memory in real time, effectively increasing available RAM and improving multitasking performance. This is especially powerful on systems with limited memory, turning an average machine into something that feels much more capable. Background services are another silent performance killer. Many Linux distributions start multiple services at boot that you may never use. Each of these consumes system resources, even if only a small amount. By identifying and disabling unnecessary services, you can free up CPU cycles and memory. This results in faster boot times, quicker application launches, and a generally smoother experience. It's like decluttering your system so it can breathe and perform at its best. Graphics performance has also seen major improvements in 2026, especially with better driver support for both NVIDIA and AMD GPUs. Using the latest drivers, enabling hardware acceleration, and properly configuring your display server can significantly impact performance. Wayland, for example, is now more mature and can offer smoother animations and better efficiency compared to X11 in many cases. However, the best choice still depends on your hardware and use case, so testing both can help you find the fastest setup. Another powerful yet often ignored optimization is using lightweight applications. Even if your system is optimized, running heavy software can slow things down. Replacing resource-intensive apps with lighter alternatives can make a huge difference. For example, using a lightweight text editor instead of a full-eyed when not needed, or choosing a minimal browser setup can reduce system load and improve responsiveness. It's all about using the right tool for the job. Now let's talk about startup optimization, because a fast system should also boot quickly. Linux systems can be optimized to boot in just a few seconds by reducing startup services, using a lightweight init system, and optimizing boot parameters. Tools like System-to-Analyze can help identify what's slowing down your boot process. By trimming unnecessary delays, you can go from pressing the power button to being fully ready in record time. Networking performance is another area where Linux shines, but only if configured correctly. Tweaks to TCP settings, enabling modern congestion control algorithms like BBR, and optimizing DNS resolution can improve internet speed and reduce latency. This is especially important for gaming, streaming, and remote work. With the right configuration, Linux can deliver faster and more stable network performance than many other operating systems. Let's also explore real-world examples to bring these concepts to life. Imagine two identical laptops. One runs a default Linux setup with a heavy desktop environment, standard kernel, and no optimizations. The other is tuned with a lightweight environment, optimized kernel, performance CPU governor, and trimmed services. The difference is immediately noticeable. The optimized system boots faster, launches apps instantly, and feels smoother in every interaction. This isn't theoretical, it's something you can experience yourself with the right tweaks. Another example is gaming performance. Many people assume Linux is slower for gaming, but in 2026, that's no longer true in many cases. With Proton, Vulkan, and optimized kernels, Linux can match or even outperform Windows in certain games. Add performance tweaks like game mode, optimized drivers, and proper CPU scheduling, and you can achieve impressive results. Some users report higher frame rates and lower latency compared to Windows, especially on well-optimized systems. Content creation is another area where Linux performance can shine. Video editing, 3D rendering, and software development can all benefit from optimized resource management. By tuning your system for performance, you can reduce render times, improve responsiveness and editing software, and handle larger projects more efficiently. This is why many professionals are switching to Linux for demanding workloads. Now here's something interesting that most people overlook: perception of speed. Sometimes, the biggest improvements come not from raw performance, but from reducing delays and improving responsiveness. Faster animations, instant feedback, and smooth transitions can make a system feel much faster, even if the actual processing power hasn't changed. Linux allows you to fine-tune these aspects, creating an experience that feels incredibly fast and fluid. As we move further into 2026, the gap between default performance and optimized performance continues to grow. Hardware is getting more powerful, but software efficiency still depends on how well it's configured. Linux gives you the tools to take full control, but it's up to you to use them. This is both the challenge and the advantage of Linux. You're not locked into a one-size-fits-all system. You can shape it into exactly what you need. To summarize everything we've covered, the fastest Linux performance in 2026 isn't about a single tweak or a magic setting. It's about a combination of smart choices and optimizations. Choosing the right distribution, using a lightweight desktop environment, switching to an optimized kernel, tuning CPU and memory settings, optimizing storage and services, and using efficient applications all work together to create a system that feels incredibly fast. Each tweak adds up, and the result is something far beyond what most users experience by default. And here's the best part: you don't need expensive hardware to achieve this. Even older machines can feel new again with the right optimizations. That's the true power of Linux. It's not just about being fast, it's about giving you control over your performance. Once you start applying these speed secrets, you'll never look at your system the same way again, because you'll realize just how much potential was hidden beneath the surface all along.